Now, when you live in an effective empire, particularly when you live in an empire that pretends to be a democracy, though really it should just be pretending to be a republic, which it once apparently was, you grow up with a lot of conflicting feelings because you think that your world is supposed to be operating in some democratic fashion and that your government is supposed to be representing you in some way, certainly as it is supposed to happen in a republic. And you find instead that the world is being run by relatively few people who really don't want any interference with what they want. And they want to commandeer our labor and our sentiments and our reflections and our relationships with other people and our economic activity and stuff that we do all day long. They want to have redound to their benefit to pursue their goals in ways that have nothing to do with us, but we're supposed to pay for. For instance, you pay taxes. You say work all day, and you do that, 250 days a year or something. And out of that time, say 15%, 30, 40% of what you earn in one way or another, through various taxes, goes to support things that you don't necessarily believe in, like supporting the empire of the richest countries on earth. And so your money goes to pay for weapons that can destroy all life on earth, and it goes to make people work for dirt wages and sell their products very cheaply so that we can live high on the hog while they can barely scrape by, if at all. And you think, well, I'm spending a lot of my time empowering my government to do these things that I don't believe in at all. And so that makes you feel quite victimized. You feel like, well, I do all this stuff, and the actual result of the stuff is not something I intend. It's commandeered, and it's used against my interests and against the interests of people I care about, or against the interests of people perhaps I should care about or might want to get to know. And you find government doesn't seem disturbed by this at all, because the government is primarily interested in the interests of investors, in the interests of getting profit to accumulate as quickly as possible, and giving the greatest security possible on investment. Not, for instance, for the benefits of people who simply need other people, the young, the old, the diseased, the retarded, the insane, the crippled, nor for the interests of people who are actually doing the work. We don't find that your labor is guaranteed. You find that profit on investment is guaranteed instead. And so when you do that, you make that basic commitment to profit instead of to human beings, and instead of to labor, and instead of to human welfare, you find yourself quite disempowered. You feel like a victim. You feel like you're wasting your life. And so you want to be able to say something about it. And find, well, try different routes. You could try writing, you could try teaching, you could try talking to people, you could try journalism, you can try politics. And the primary thing is that to feel somewhat better about your life, you need to make it more coherent. And to make it more coherent, you need to be more active about it. You have to act on your own intentions and your own perceptions and your own will and desire instead of somebody else's. Instead of always being made into a puppet or made into somebody else's troop or cannon fodder or somebody else's tool. Try to say what you think yourself. And then you find that at least when you feel you're representing yourself, even if you can't get the kinds of results that you want, you find it very difficult to actually communicate with people because they don't want to listen, because they would rather get their news more conveniently, because they don't particularly want to have to think about it or investigate its sources, don't want to have to make judgments about the truthfulness of it or the relevance of one thing to another, or whether they're being told logical fallacies or things that can't happen at all. You find at least that that you lead a more integral life in which the things that you're doing have more to do with what you actually think than before. And so once you become politically active in that way and assert yourself democratically, you feel somewhat better about life, even if you can't actually be sure that the world is really becoming more of the kind of place that you wish it were, and that you think people should have the right to live in, that would affirm their lives and make them feel decent about themselves and each other. At least while you're working on it, you can feel a little better.